Hello, everybody. So Linda and I are together again, and it's been quite a while since we've spoke to each other.
I know, I miss you.
It's the Authenticity Day. We're talking about authenticity and authentic truth and what that means to us. And I know it's one of those words that gets bantered about a lot at the moment. And I think it means a different thing for different people and depending on where we come from in life. So there's so many different aspects. Do you want to begin? Do you want to talk about your...
Yeah, like I've had quite the journey. I thought I was living my authentic life. I really wasn't, because I would hold myself back from speaking, from extending my opinion. I didn't think my opinion had any merit. And it's because of what I was taught in life just by how others interacted with me. My voice was always wrong. My opinion wasn't right, it didn't matter. I was very quiet as a child, so people didn't think that I had a lot to say. And I've come to realize that that's not who I am. I have a lot to say, and now I can't shut up.
Yeah,
but in a good way. Yeah, it's showing up for yourself as authentic as you can be for yourself.
Absolutely.
It's stepping out of your comfort zone and realizing your core values and not apologizing for it. The biggest lesson that I learned so far is to say no.
Big one. Saying no and holding boundaries.
It happened a couple of years ago where, I was setting boundaries and letting people step over them and not doing anything about it and expecting them to change when I wasn't changing myself. Like, because I would set a boundary, people would step over it, I would accept it, and then I'd complain about it. Well, I have nothing to complain about because I didn't set a strong enough boundary and I didn't follow through. So really, it was on me because it was the past of what I had always done before is like, no, I don't want this. Oh, set a boundary, people step over it. I just accepted it and didn't say anything. And it was funny because I was at a show in Toronto about 3 years ago now, and it was Sarah Millican. And the biggest thing, she's awesome. I'm going to see her in July, so I'm very excited. Hopefully, everything will be back to where we can meet.
Yeah, sure it will. I'm sure.
Yes. So the biggest thing, and it was at the tail end of her show, and she handed out buttons even that just had one word: no. If you don't want to do something, no. You might want to offer an explanation. You don't have to, but you don't have to justify why you don't want to do something. And that was the biggest takeaway from me. She handed out buttons. I still have it. Just says no.
Yeah, good.
And just say it. And I had to set boundaries with people and follow through. And just in my journey over here, I realized that I'm in Scotland. It is the home of my heart. I was born in Canada. I should be totally connected to Canada, but I wasn't. And it wasn't until that I listened to my voice and answered it back that I realized where I was in my life was not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be here. I wanted to embrace the talents that I have. I was hiding them away. I wasn't shining my light on anything. I thought I was, but in my actions, I realized that no, I wasn't. Because I always had self-doubt. Self-doubt came in a lot. And it was because I had these paradigms that were instilled in me in childhood, probably from my parents' parents, their parents' parents, and you had to track back to that root cause. And it's just basically, I realized that my ancestors, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, they did what they did to survive.
Yeah, and they all did, because it's to me, I think with most people that I've come across, certainly over the last few months with this intense work that I'm doing at this moment in time, which is why I've been quite quiet on social media, because I have been really going deep, is to see that most people have a self-image issue, and it all stems from self-image. So when we put that right, and when we are able to look at ourselves with love, in love, then we can actually start to embrace everybody else. But until then, forget it, because if we don't start with us, then you know, there's no, you know, it's that whole analogy of planting the seed, you know, and watering the flower. We have to water ourselves first. If we
Yeah, and you have to know what you're planting too. Like if you have an acorn and you expect tomatoes, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. But I think a lot of the time, you know, and we all know this, we're too busy looking outside of ourselves instead of just stepping in. And I think my view on this whole year has been, because it is exactly a year, is that we've just had the most amazing time to be able to use this time for us. And I'm so grateful that I have. I am so grateful. I mean, yes, okay, the first few months I was a bit wobbly, but I have taken the time to see, okay, this isn't going away fast.
Yeah.
So let's find out what it is that, what Indra's about, what she needs to create, what she needs to do for her. And, you know, for a lot of people, authenticity is so effing selfish. People think, you know, well, you're going to behave like that, you're going to put a boundary up. You will soon realize who your friends are when you start to be authentic, when you start to really step into that place of saying no, holding your boundaries, and really looking at yourself and going, okay, this is what I need for me. I like you now. I don't have an issue saying no. And I know if people have a problem with that, then that's their thing. That's their stuff. Yeah. It's not, as long as I'm always doing it from the heart and from a place of love.
Exactly. It's all about the love. Like when I look back at how I was as a young child, I was described as always smiling, always laughing, full of hugs, full of love.
I was the opposite.
And I was stifled because I was told that my laugh was not right. I gave hugs too hard. I gave of myself too freely. And there was a lesson in that too, because yes, I gave myself like time, effort on everyone else, but I didn't give it to myself. And what this lockdown, I hate to use the word lockdown, but it gave me the time to do a lot of reflection, inner work like you're doing, meditation. I took up Reiki, and I realized that I had some beliefs in meditation in the higher plane and in channeling into source, because I don't like to use the word God, but universal source, that wasn't wonky. It wasn't weird. And in embracing your true self of who you want to be, you find your tribe of people.
Absolutely. I agree. And I don't think there is anything weird now about anything
No.
that's going on. Everybody's believing different things, and that's okay. I think something happened to me this morning, which was tests my authenticity, and it's probably something I think it's something I'd like to bring up for, and maybe divide the generations slightly, because the way I look at complaining about something, and if service isn't okay in a place where I'm maybe buying an expensive coffee or something. And a situation happened to me this morning when I was buying a coffee, and I always have oat milk, okay? And I was served by two young kids, maybe about 18, I don't know, and they were having a conversation amongst themselves. And they were chatting, making my coffee. And then, of course, I get the coffee, and the coffee's normal milk. Now, to a lot of people, you just turn around and say, oh, sort yourself out, Indra. But there's a few things we can look at that. We can say, oh, well, somebody might have been a vegan. Somebody might have had allergies. I have neither of those issues. My issue was the fact that there was chatting going on when I was being served. I wasn't being served from a place of what I believe would be from their truth, from who they were, because I was just another customer, you know. It was kind of, and I thought, I've seen a lot of that lately. Over the last year, I've watched customer service, and maybe you have too, maybe other people have too. I've watched it go downhill, which is why I'm bringing it up now, because I'm somebody who was brought up to be authentically polite, from a place of, you treat people with respect. When somebody is speaking to you, you give them your undivided attention. You listen to them. And I'm noticing now that isn't happening. So I made a complaint. I did make a complaint. I don't want to be like a Victor Meldrew. Those of you that know Victor Meldrew, who was out in the 80s, who was a complaining sitcom guy.
Okay.
Great, absolutely great, but always complained about everything. But I made a complaint, and it wasn't about getting a free coffee. It wasn't about that. It was about the fact I want to see customer service. When I'm spending £3.80 on a cup of coffee, I want to see good customer service. And I know people have questioned me before about going to corporates. There's a reason I've gone to corporates, because the customer service has been better and the coffee's been slightly cheaper. I want to help people who are independent, and I'm happy to pay that bit extra. But when the service is bad, what do you do about it? Do you walk away? The point I'm getting to with this is, if I didn't complain about that, I don't really see it as complaining. It's speaking up, being authentic, and saying this is needed. So I did step into that place this morning, and I feel, okay, you say your piece, you let it go. Because if you don't let it go, you're going to attract more of those issues, more and more complaints. But I do feel there is a place, I think society is falling behind their mobile phones, and kids don't know how to communicate. I'm not even saying authentically, but
just being present. Just being present in the situation.
Exactly.
Like, I worked at a gym for 24, 25 years. And the last gym that I was at, it was wonderful. Their policy was to say hello and goodbye to everyone who came in and went. And when I asked how someone was doing, I stopped and listened, and I genuinely wanted to know, how are your workouts going? Are you having any progress? Are you having any difficulty? They sold the gym. They sold to a large conglomerate. And within 3 months, I quit, because it was exactly how you described the people behind the counter. And I was one of them. I was the only one who was present. But they're all talking and chatting amongst themselves and ignoring everyone coming in. That's your business. Yeah. And another issue that I have is when someone doesn't say please and thank you. Yeah. It takes 2 seconds.
I agree.
And I broke up with someone. That was one of the reasons, because when I called him on it and stepped out of my glazed headlight and say, what are you doing? Like, this is a person. They deserve a please and a thank you. And his response was, well, they're there to serve me. It's like, oh, no, you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
you're not honoring that person as a person. You're just seeing them as something that they can give you. And if they get it wrong, then you're going to yell at them. Mm. And that I'm not coming from that place of anger. I've forgiven a whole lot of people, but most importantly, I've forgiven myself for not stepping out and being my true authentic voice.
Yeah. And it's how we teach people of our younger generations
it was good that you complained. Well, not complained. I don't like using that word, but
it wasn't a complaint. It was an I think I just brought awareness. I think I would have complained if I'd kept going on, and I am keep going on. And I'm going on now because I'm proving a point that I do think and I do believe that we are losing that. And it scares me to think that people are losing the basics. The Muladhara, the base chakra of life. That's the base of us all. It's that authentic, real truth of how we just communicate with each other. And we've got so much social media now, the mobile phones and all that stuff we all know about. Is that how do we teach our children And I'm not just talking about people who have got children.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful that both of my girls are extremely good at customer service, and I always was. You know, I worked when I was 16 at a cafe, an Italian cafe, and you know, my ass would have been kicked across that floor. Can you imagine an Italian?
Oh God.
I kicked across that floor if I had been anything but polite to the customers. Now, I just see that now as I go into a place like that and I want 110% service, you know, and you can say I'm a princess. Yes, I bloody well am a princess, and I deserve that. And why shouldn't I if I'm paying £3.80 for a coffee? And why shouldn't you, you know, you deserve to be with that somebody who actually has the manners, who is able to sort of say, you know, okay, oh shit, I didn't say that. I didn't say, oh yeah, Linda, you were right. I'm going to go back and I'm going to say.
Just admit it, just own it.
Yeah.
That's all I was asking for. I wasn't asking for a big fight.
Yeah.
But that's what happened because he thought I was attacking him. And it's like, no, I'm just bringing it to your attention. Like a please and thank you goes so much.
Yeah.
You could make someone's day by just being present.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna put it to everybody today. If you're listening to this today, what can you do today to make somebody's day by actually acknowledging them from your authentic truth, from that space of love? I mean, for you, for other people who are listening, please and thank you might not be a big deal. But I think if they're British, we are brought up with that. A lot of cultures.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in this country, if people don't say please and thank you, I mean, certainly for my generation, it is extremely rude. You know, it's so rude. Mm-hmm. So, you know, what can you do to make somebody's day? I love to authentically say to people in the street how good they look. And I do that very often. You know, if some woman is wearing a beautiful shawl, I'll point it out and I'll stop her. Now, sometimes people think I'm just a bloody weirdo because I've stopped. If you've made that person's day by stopping them, if you feel authentically inside your heart that you want to say something to somebody in the street, but you daren't because of COVID or you daren't because it's weird, I suggest that you take that step and you do it today or this week.
Yeah, I'm doing 30 days of random kindness. And I do that in my daily life anyways.
Yeah.
But it's to be more present in my actions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And some people might not respond to it because I complimented a little girl. She had jazzy new sneakers and the sneakers matched her scooter. So I said, oh my goodness, I love your sneakers. They match your scooter. And she frowned at me. It's like, because she thought I was weird.
But that also makes me wonder, you know, what has that child heard before? You know, what are the things that are they complimented? You know, I always try to compliment, you know, not just my kids, but people. You know, we had a bit of a joke last night in yoga. I'm not going to say who this is. She'll probably listen, but she jumped into the yoga class and she was saying to one of the ladies in my class, "Oh my God, you look so beautiful." And I just went, "Oh, you're saying that to her today? You're not saying that to me." Okay, afterwards to say, and you are too. You know, you look radiant. And it was a joke, but it was just like, it was so funny when she came in with this whole kind of, "Oh, look at you! You look amazing. You look gorgeous." And you know, if you're listening to this, I'm not going to tell you who it is. You do too, and you always do. And we have a little joke between us, but it's just, what is it inside of your heart that it really we don't express our authenticity, we hide it, we lock it down inside our hearts and we don't let it out, and we need to find those keys, don't we, Linda?
Yep. The keys, yes. And they're very colorful and ornate keys.
But we do. We need to find those keys of self-love and that authenticity will then, you know, it will shine through.
Even if you just take one step out.
Absolutely.
And one step out daily and just try it out. Try on those shoes.
Try on those shoes that match your scooter. But
That's right.
We are also in a world where people actually are frightened to be authentic because of their view. You know, and especially on social media, people would rather say, oh, I can't be bothered to comment because it's just going to set something off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've had to hold myself back a little bit on social media, not a lot. Like, I just put it out there. But that's the lesson that I learned, because you project this fantasy life on social media. Everything is sunshine and flowers and rainbows. And really, you've had a crappy day, and that's okay. You had a crappy day. It's one day.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're always complaining, that's another thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do like to, you know, I just think that, you know, I'm one of these people who doesn't go anymore trolling around social media. I've got enough to do.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I'll check in on people, see how they're doing. It's a great means for me to communicate with my family, because we're scattered now. I'm in Scotland. I've got cousins in Canada. My brother's in Canada. I've got friends in Japan, Australia, and Tasmania. So it's really nice to all come together under that one platform. But other than that, no. Oh, and I could skip over the posts that are just bad news, bad news, bad news. I don't watch the news anymore. I get the snippets, and that's good enough for me. And I'm a former journalist, so this is big for me not to watch the news or read newspapers. I read a lot. I read a lot online, but it's to get the snippets, and then I form my own opinion.
It's so healthy not to watch the news. So have you got anything else to add to authenticity? And obviously it's great because it's organically led into politeness and manners.
Yes, I know. No, I think that's
your bloody manners.
Step into your own. It's not so bad in here.
Yeah. Anything else? I just think, you know, to me, I just feel that, you know, like I've just said earlier, it's the basis of life that we're kind of, and it isn't just due to COVID, you know.
No.
It's not just due, I know we've got these things on, and we're walking around like this, and then somebody says, well, I can't hear you. If somebody can't hear me, I just do that and I speak. I don't try and, don't do this. I just take it down and I just speak to them like normal, because, you know, it's something is getting lost.
Yes.
I think we
have a barrier. This is the barrier now.
Yeah.
And I have trouble hearing people with the mask on. And I was thinking the other day, I was going into the petrol station and I'm putting my mask on, and I'm thinking, in the olden days, this would be a stick up. And you got sunglasses on and you got your mask on.
Brilliant. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you can't know what people are feeling, because I show everything on my face. I can't lie because it shows here. Like, if I'm upset, I can't say, oh no, I'm fine, because like people will say, no, you're not. Yeah. But the mask, it's a barrier. So stick them up, Indra. Show your true self.
Yeah, stick them up. That's absolutely right. Well, thank you for speaking. And I'm, you know, I always love our chats. We have a right laugh. And yeah, I'd love to hear your comments about authenticity, about politeness, what you're experiencing right now in the world when it comes to, you know, going out and meeting people, and how, you know, I tend to go, I can rant on for ages, I know, but I tend to go out in the morning and do my thing before energy gets too crazy and high, because I'm such a sensitive and I do pick up on stuff. I rather just do my thing early, because I'm up at 4 and I'm studying at 4. And so by 7:30, I'm ready to hit the world. So I'm back home at 9 and that's my day. So it's, you know, what are you doing to actually support that base, that authentic truth that is you, that politeness, those manners, those things that we all need to, not just to love ourselves, but to love others in the world. And if we're going to lose that, then, you know, where are we going? You know, so
No,
Please.
there's a ton of love in the world. There's a ton of love in you, and it's all about the love.
It is.
Love the planet, love ourselves, love our children, love our dogs, love the plants that you have outside.
I should have brought my guitar. We could have done a bit of Love Me Do.
Oh, that would be another authenticity test for me, singing in public. So I sing all day, every day, to the dog, in the shower, to myself, in the car. But as soon as someone else steps into the room, it's like the voice goes a little bit quieter.
No, sing. So we all should sing.
We need the silent moon karaoke time.
Definitely. Oh my God, I love singing. And of course, I've taught myself the guitar again. Me and the guitar have had, or the guitar and I, using proper English, have had a love-hate relationship for the last 20 years. And I stopped and started. And I decided that this year I was going to go and just go, sod this. I'm going to just do it. I'm going to pick it up every day. And I'm just going to even just do 10 minutes. And sometimes I pick it up and I've looked and it's an hour later. I'm loving it so much.
That's good. That's good. Because you're not pressuring yourself either. You're just having fun and riffing.
I'm doing exactly that. No lessons, no nothing. Just teaching myself.
Yeah.
Singing.
I played the guitar in high school, and I could probably still pick out a few chords and the fingerings. That's good. Other than that, I didn't have a guitar to practice on. Once I graduated and left school, I had to give the guitar back, and I wasn't solvent enough to pick up my own.
Yeah, it's always a good excuse. We can make excuses till we're blue in the face.
Exactly. Yes.
Everything.
So but yeah, that's one of those.
I mean, so much has happened, and thanks to lockdown for the guitar as well. So yeah. Thanks, Linda.
Thanks, Indra. So I'm so I didn't even do my hair today. So this is what you get in mid-morning.
Authentic, love. Authentic.
That's right. Our beauty shines from within.
That's absolutely right. It does.
It is.
Right.